Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I am in mid-project here and realized, oh, I should just make a video. So what I'm doing is I'm making some rustic Christmas ornaments. I am taking an idea from Glue Guns and Roses and kind of doing some just like hers and changing some up to my own thing. So what I'm doing is I'm starting off with these Jenga blocks from the Dollar Tree, or tumbling tower blocks, I guess. And the way she did it on Glue Guns and Roses is she glued 4 of the natural ones together using the super glue gel from the Dollar Tree. And right now I've got 28, I think 28 of them, 27 of them glued together, and I've only used 1 tube of glue. So that goes pretty well. I have used, I think, 1, 2, I'm on my 3rd box of, nope, I'm wrong. I'm on my 4th box of Jenga blocks right now. So I was going to glue, I accidentally picked up one of the ones that are half painted, but then I got to thinking that kind of looks cool to have 4 with alternating colors. So with this box I'm going ahead and gluing every other one. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the glue and I'm just putting a thin bead of glue down the side, and I'm just setting it aside for a minute and just matching it up with its partner, but I'm not sticking them together yet. The reason I'm doing that is I'm giving the glue a moment to air dry just a touch so they're not so slippery when you go to stick them together. And I'm not putting a ton of glue on here, just a little line down the edge. Okay, and then I'm just setting them aside for a second, letting that glue curing process get started on there. Now, if you need to go through and find the block in your package that has the logo stamped on it, and you need to sand that off. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a bunch of leftover Jenga blocks, and you're not, ouch, and you're not going to want that writing to show, because we're going to do something else here in a minute. And don't glue your fingers together like I did. My fingernail is glued to the skin below it. I'm just, the hazards of super glue. It doesn't blister like hot glue, but man, it's a pain. And I generally have been finding that if I do about half the box at a time and then squish them together, that's enough time for it to start to cure. But these painted ones take a little longer. Okay, so, oh, there they are. I was going to say, I ran out. I don't have an even number. I was thinking I must have swiped a few, but I found them. All right. So now I've got those together. These are already glued, so I'm going to come down here and make pairs out of these. Just squeeze them together. And the reason I'm using the gel super glue is we are going to stain these with coffee. I'm not going to stain the ones that have the painted ones on them. So I got that idea. I was starting to pull the painted ones out, and I was going to repaint them white. I got to thinking, I have a sign in my my kitchen that was from Michael's that had different color planks, and I thought I really like it. So, all right, the ones that are painted are taking a little bit longer to grip, so I'm going to let them sit for a minute, and then I'm going to, these that have been sitting for a bit, I'm going to go ahead and stack them up so that I have more room on my drawing paper. I am just using wax paper. I do, ooh, those aren't dry yet. I do prefer to use parchment paper, especially if I'm hot gluing. Parchment just seems to release the extra glue a little easier. I don't know. Must have something to do with the silicone beads that are infused into parchment. Okay. Oh. All right. So those are glued up and out of the way. And now here's the next step. Now that they're in pairs, I'm going to grab up one pair, put the glue on, and match it with another pair. Okay, always working in pairs. That way I don't accidentally put glue where I don't want it and have to clean it up, because super glue is not as easy to clean up. These are still moving around a little bit. It'll be okay. You want to make sure you give them plenty of time before you dunk them into the coffee mixture to stain. Okay, I've got a coffee pot, a pot of coffee. I had my husband, I don't drink coffee, but my husband does. So I had him make a strong pot of coffee this morning before he left for work because I honestly don't even know how to make his coffee pot work. I know that's sad, huh? So anyway, okay. So these have sat for a few seconds, and now I'm just going to squish them together. And I just think they look really cute. Pardon my doggies. I'm filming this as it's, well, I was going to say it's later than I thought. We live right across the street from an elementary school, and the dogs are barking at every little sound, and they're still upset from Halloween trick-or-treaters last night knocking on their door. I'm not squeezing these like super duper hard. I don't want to squish the glue out everywhere, but I do want them to make good contact. All right, while those are setting up, I'm going to go get the coffee, and I will be right back. I was unable to set up my camera to show you how I did this up in my kitchen. So what I did is I poured the pot of coffee into a pan, and then I placed the glued together block sections in there and let them soak. I pushed them all the way down so they were completely wet, and I let them soak in there for about a half an hour. After they were done soaking, I pulled them out and I stuck them on a cookie drying rack, and you'll see this one up here is a comparison as to what they look like with stain and without stain. Okay, it took them overnight to dry, so plan accordingly when you do this. All right, I am back. I was able to get this load of blocks stained into or dumped into the coffee to stain them. Thought I would show you a difference or comparison to show you how they got. If the coffee would have been stronger, they would have got darker. So this is a natural colored Jenga block, and this is the coffee stained one. Okay, now this one's painted. It's one of the mixed colored Jenga blocks that you get at the Dollar Tree, and I just went ahead and glued them together to make a different colored plank. So I kind of think these look a little bit like shiplap, and that's the goal I was going for. I also did some single blocks. They are for another craft project, but I just wanted to be able to show you the difference and what actually, how much color change. There's not a ton of color change on these. Like I say, I was using a pretty weak pot of coffee. This is a craft that I borrowed from Glue Guns and Roses, and I will be linking her video below so you can go and watch how she does it. So I have these, and then I also have a couple of packages of the wooden stickers from the Dollar Tree, and I painted them. I just painted right over the glitter, and it covered really well except for on a couple of them. It didn't cover real well on the stars, but I like how it turned out. And so I did some in black, some in white, and I thought the stockings just need to be red, and red is a farmhouse color as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use these up, and let's get started on what we're going to do. I think I'm going to start with a red stocking, and I'm going to remove the little dot on the back. Usually those just peel right off, but this one's being difficult. You can leave it popped up if you want, but that's just not the look that I want. And then I'm going to decide, do I want the lighter colored wood at the top or the lighter colored wood at the bottom? And I think I like it better at the top. Personal preference, completely up to you. So I'm going to just take a little bit of hot glue. You could also use super glue for this or E6000, but I think hot glue will be strong enough. And then center it and push it down. And then I want to show you what it looks like also on a plain one. These will probably be $2 ornaments in my craft booth. I like to have a lot of little different ornaments that are unique, and they just kind of hang. And okay, so there's what the two stockings would look like. Let's do a couple of mittens. All right, so we need to put hangers on these. I'm going to slide them over to the side. And the way I'm going to do that is by using a little bit of jute twine. I'm going to be doing hangers for something, and I'm going to be doing a lot of them. I usually grab a card of some sort or something, and I wrap a whole bunch of them at one time. I love to use this scraper as a wrapper for hanging hangers and whatnot because of this part, you can get your scissors up inside of there really easily. So I'm going to clip off just the little knotted up end. And then I'm just going to put my scissors underneath there and cut them. And voila, I have a whole bunch of hangers and they're now all the same size. So I am going to finish up the rest of these pieces off camera, but I just wanted to be able to show you what I've got. So I'm just going to tie a knot at the end. So I have that. I'm going to flip my ornament over. I'm going to add some hot glue, a nice little strip of it over about the first 2 blocks. And I'm going to grab one of these silicone fingers. If you don't have these silicone fingers, use a popsicle stick for this. But push your twine and the knot down into the hot glue and try to kind of sink it in there. If you need to, if it's not covering, then just put a little more hot glue over the knot. And voila. Once that hardens up, you've got a beautiful little rustic ornament. You can either leave it like this, or you can take it a little bit farther and add another little jute bow. Take my finger off for this. So I'm going to do a 2-finger bow. And I'm just going to wrap around 5 times. I just want this little bow to be little. Could just tie a bow for it being this small. That would work as well. Get it centered. Tie the knot. Now I also happen to think that these would be really pretty with a little gingham check red bow. Okay, so I'm thinking just put a little dot up here on top. So I'm pulling the string back from the tie. You could also put like a little eye hook right in here and tie a bow around the eye hook. It's just a little dot of glue up top and press the bow in. Hold it there for a second and let it dry, and boom. Okay, that's what we got. Come on, focus. There we go. All right, now let me grab some red and show you what that would look like. Okay, I'm going to try using some of this baker's twine. I got this at Walmart. I think it was $2, which I thought was a really good deal. I don't remember if it was exactly $2, but I remember thinking when I grabbed it that that's a steal. Okay, so I am going to use this, but this was just back in the Christmas section with the wrapping paper. So I don't know how this is going to look, but I just thought that this might be a good use for some of this red baker's twine. So let's take the stocking and go ahead and do the tie just like we did on the other one. Okay, I'm going to do my baker's twine in the same way I do my jute twine. I'm going to wrap 6 times. I'm going to clip off a tail. I'm going to squish my circle together. And I'm going to tie a knot. Oops. Tie a knot around my little bundle. I have never made a bow with baker's twine like this before, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. Except for when I pull the wrong string. Oh, come on. I keep pulling the wrong string in my bundle. Now I got to get that loop straightened back out. Okay, I think we're there. All right. Make sure I got both of those ends in the right spot. Jiminy Christmas. So if you were making these, and when I get off camera, what I will do is make up a whole bunch of little bows. And then I will, or maybe I'll do all of the hangers so they can be cooling. Then I'll make up a whole bunch of little bows instead of making one bow, gluing it on, one bow, gluing it on. Just kind of assembly line it. Okay, so I'm pulling my hanger out of the way, putting a little dot of glue, and then sticking on my bow. And that's what we have. I think that looks really cute. I like that. Okay, so you decide, do you prefer a jute bow? Or do you prefer a baker's twine bow? Or perhaps you prefer no bow. They don't have to have a bow on them. A little jingle bell would be cute right there too. But then the more you put on it, the less farmhouse it's going to be, because farmhouse is simple, and the more you embellish, the more you get away from that. I do like the way that the twine ties just kind of hang on the side there. I don't know. I'm not sure which one I like best. All I know is that I love them, and I can't wait to hang some of these on my tree. They are not all going to make it to the craft booth. Sorry. So anyway, if you like this project, let me know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments section. And give me a thumbs up if you like the video, so I know what kinds of things you like to see. And these will all be turned into ornaments along with the rest of these that I have stacked up. So anyway, this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.